does it feel?
If you want a panic button, now's probably a pretty good time to push it. I'm Brian Gomez reporting again from Amsoil Arena in Duluth, Minnesota, where number 16 Colorado College suffered a 5-2 defeat tonight against number 4 Minnesota-Duluth, a loss that drops the Tigers even further out of the NCAA tournament picture. They're in 5th place in the WCHA, needing only one win in their season-ending series next weekend at home against Michigan Tech to clinch home ice for the first round of the WCHA playoffs. But CC is 21st in the pairwise rankings used to determine the 16 NCAA tournament qualifiers, and beating a mediocre team like Michigan Tech, even sweeping the Huskies, isn't going to help them very much. And there's a possibility that CC could face Michigan Tech again in the first round of the WCHA playoffs. Again, a series that won't help CC very much in the pairwise. So the Tigers are looking at the likelihood of needing 1, probably 2, maybe even 3 wins at the WCHA Final 5 next month in St. Paul to get back to the NCAA tournament. The bigger concern, though, for CC is the way they're playing. They're not very consistent. They can't string periods together. Take tonight, for instance. CC and Minnesota-Duluth were tied 1-1 in the first. CC actually came out with a lot of energy. It was a very back-and-forth first period, a very even first period. CC got a power play goal from Ryland Schwartz. Joe Howe wasn't very sharp. His positioning was a little bit off, but he stood strong. Then in the second period, Howe broke down. In the third, the wheels came off. Minnesota-Duluth scored 4 unanswered goals, 2 on the power play, and that was the end of it. CC continues to search for answers.
You know, in the end, we piled up some penalties, but they're a good hockey team. They're hard to play against. They're big and strong, and they're good on the smaller sheet. And the defensemen, you know, do a good job, and Ryder's solid. And you know what? I didn't mind the way we skated the first 30 minutes of the game. I thought. Then we had trouble getting to the net. And they're just dangerous. They've got some awful good offensive weapons. They can get a lot of momentum in a hurry off their power play, and they had a good crowd tonight. And you know, I thought the atmosphere was better and tougher to play tonight. But yeah, if we could have gotten it in there and 3-2, and you never know. But no, you got to give them credit. They played well. They stuck with their plan all 120 minutes plus, and they finished. Even though I think we're 1-5 in our last 6, I mean, we have played pretty well. We've just made some bad mistakes that have cost us games, and if we can smooth that out a little bit and get into our building here for home ice, and you know, and then we got a chance. I mean, we knew this was going to be a tough weekend for us, but I mean, you guys, we're not that bad of a team. I mean, we've got some pieces and some people playing pretty well.
I mean, anytime you get 1 win in 6 games, nobody's happy. Nobody likes to lose, and right now we gotta fight through that. I mean, today, you know, tied 1-1 again, and we just can't get that goal to get us going. We're finding trouble, you know, the second half of the year doing that. We're in their building. Take them a little bit to get going too. They're a tough team to play against. We didn't get many pucks on net, and hardly any quality chances, so that feeds them as well when they're in our end constantly. And you know, when we're forced our goalie to make big saves, you know, you're going to run out of time. Hockey's a game where you just get on a roll anytime, and I mean, you can't just keep waiting for it. You gotta work, and it's not going to come on its own. But yeah, definitely home ice is big. 1 would be nice. Obviously, you want both to just make a stand there, get your name out there. But yeah, definitely we're going to have to work hard next weekend.
We're not finishing. I think there's a lot more problems than just that. We wouldn't have lost 5 games if it was just a matter of finishing. I think that's part of the problem. Obviously, there's a lot of 1-goal games in there that we've kind of instead of finding ways to win that we were maybe early on in the season, we're almost finding ways to lose at this point. And it's definitely concerning heading the last couple games of the season. We realistically have 2 games to right the ship here a bit before it's playoff hockey time. I guess the positive to take out of it is that honestly turns it into almost a new season, and if we can build some positive momentum, we can turn this into a positive, but it's got to happen quickly. The pieces, they're there, and it seems like that when we do 2 things right, we're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back at this point. That's the problem right now, is that we're not firing all cylinders. It's another cliche cliche that we keep using, but it's the bottom line. It's the reason why it's the truth right now. It's comforting a little bit that we still control our home ice destiny, I guess, a little bit, but I think it's more in terms of the process that we need to do some more things right rather than just kind of gutting out a couple wins against Michigan Tech. We need to right some of the mistakes that we're making.